welcome to the Flat Earth podcast. If you want to find out anything more about us and what we're doing in the world, please go on check out fucking fuck off about us. As always, head on over to the flatearthpodcast.com. There you'll find information, previous episodes, links to other YouTube content, all that good stuff. If you are watching this on YouTube and not just listening to the Spotify audio, can you take a moment, just press the little like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done already, and select that little bell icon on all so you get updates of all the different videos we do, weekly podcasts, and then obviously all the Project 46 stuff and other little videos and content that we'll be putting up. I've been thinking a lot about friendship and the nature of friendship and how friendship works. What does it mean to be a friend? How does it look to be a good friend? What are some of the things that bind people together? What are some of the things that split people apart? And it's in that vein, I'd like to have a little talk for a while. And I'd like to take you to just an awesome scene in a exceptional TV program. Now, you remember a while ago, I did a little podcast around some of the words of Don Draper from Mad Men. This is in the same kind of vein. I have lots of real life heroes, but I also have lots of TV programs and films and idols from literature where you just look at them and you go like, there's just something about them, or there's moments that they experience and go through, and it just makes you, I don't know what to say. It touches something. And there is this particular scene in this series called Justified. If you don't know about Justified, it was on FX. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime now. All 6 seasons are on there. And it's based on an Elmore Leonard short story, Fire in the Hole. If you don't know Elmore Leonard, then, you know, I think Jackie Brown, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, Get Shorty, and lots of other funny little short stories have come of him. He's kind of a pulp novelist, crime noir, kind of like, I don't know, he's just awesome source material for people who understand him and understand what film is like, how to bring these characters off of a page and into real life. Quick breakdown of the series. I'm not going to ruin too much, but it's been out a while now, so fucking catch up in it. You know what I mean? Just like straight up catch up. It's around a US Marshal called Raylan Givens. Okay, Raylan Givens, and he begins in the first episode. He kills a mobster somewhere, Miami or somewhere, I don't know. And as a result of killing him and the heat around him, he gets sent back to Harlan County, which is the county where he grew up, his hometown. And I don't know a lot about Harlan County, but it's kind of like, you know, one of those kind of backwaters of America where there's sort of strange traditions and very big families. And it's an old mining town, which will come up. But, you know, it's kind of in a bit more of a degraded state now. But he goes back, and pretty soon in the series, he runs into Boyd Crowder. So Raylan Givens is played by an actor called Timothy Olyphant, who's awesome, from Deadwood and some other stuff. He was in like Mandalorian and stuff. He's awesome. Boyd Crowder was played by Walton Goggins. So if you understand Walton Goggins, he came from The Shield. He's been in a couple of Quentin Tarantino's films now. Great, amazing actor. So Raylan Givens, US Marshal, goes back to Harlan County and soon runs into Boyd Crowder, who were the kind of, I guess, childhood friends, but taken very different paths. Raylan is now a lawman, you know, fast shooter, wears a stupid dope cowboy hat. I've never tried a cowboy hat, but I got like this tiny head. I got like this really tiny head. I'm not sure that a cowboy hat would work for me, but anyway, he's awesome. And Boyd Crowder went a different way. Boyd Crowder went down the route of anarchy and destruction and robbery and theft, and he's very eloquent and is able to deceive people. He actually is kind of bringing in some racial elements, some skinhead elements, some white power elements, but not because he's necessarily like that, because he realized he can kind of like utilize the people that will swallow that stuff for his own means, which is robbery and money and trying to get out of Harlan County and, you know, whatever. The series is awesome. The series just carries on, and there's lots of capers, and there's amazing actors and amazing set pieces. It's just great. But these two figures constantly clash. The lawman and the criminal, friends from youth, but very different. And the scene I want to talk about, and the scene I'm going to play you, and I'm going to be very careful playing you, because I got a copyright strike the other day for playing like a tiny bit of Jerry Maguire, and I'm not letting YouTube do this anymore. So I'll probably play voice actors reading the lines and doing them so well, it sounds almost like it sounds almost like I've recorded it. It's weird. I just got these guys who are really good at doing voices. But I will play you the audio of their lines, and then we'll talk a bit more. But really, before we do that, I want to ask you a little question. You know that there's different kinds of friends. Now, when I was little, I had a little poem book, and it was kind of like really cheesy. For a while, I was into like really cheesy poems, and there was a poem in it, and the poem went, oh God, what is it, man? Oh, I think it's something like this. New friends, old friends are gold. No, what is it, man? Oh, dude, I can't remember the poem. Oh, that's really annoying me, man. Oh, here it is. So I had this poem. It was really cheesy. Oh, I've forgotten it again. Why can't I remember this bloody poem? Ah, here it is. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, one is gold. Now, that's cheesy, but there's some kind of truth to it. I'm going to ask you for a moment to think of someone or some people. Now, these aren't people that are necessarily in your life right now. They're not necessarily people who lived their life parallel with yours. You maybe went off on very different paths. But they're people you really shared some moment with, to the point where if you were to meet them tomorrow, you would kind of click back into some comfortable place with them. Have that person or people in your mind, and let's go to the audio of that scene.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to look for a reason to get off the phone. Can I ask you one question before you go? As long as you understand, if it annoys me, I'm just gonna hang up. Scout's honor. Trample Penitentiary is a long way from Miami, Raylan. And you could have called the warden, could have sent word to my lawyer. Ask him why I came. Thought it was news that should be delivered in person. That the only reason? After all these long years, Raylan Gibbons, that's the only reason. And I suppose if I allow myself to be sentimental, despite all that has occurred, there is one thing I wander back to. We dug coal together. That's right.
There's something I love about that scene, and I remember the first time I saw it, because it's the very last scene in the very last season, in the very last episode. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. After all these long years, that's the only reason. And then this line, just and the way it's delivered in the acting, man. Well, I suppose if I allow myself to be sentimental, despite all that has occurred, there is one thing I wander back to. And then Boyd, understanding exactly what he means, he says, we dug coal together. And Raylan just says, that's right. And it always hits me, this scene always hits me, because there are friends I've got, and I hope you've got them too, where I shared such significant moments with them, that there is a level of permission to talk and understanding of each other that you even if you haven't seen him for years, you enter in at a certain level. And you may have had other friends in the preceding years that you've done lots of different stuff with, but they're maybe not even at that level, or it took you years to get there, you know? There is friendships that kind of happen to you, and then there are friendships that you give yourself, or you give yourself to, and they are different things. So in my experience, you can have a seminal experience with someone, a moment. You can share some event, good or bad, with that person, and somehow like this, there's like this sort of like link, this like chain kind of gets formed, and now you exist in a different place with that person for the rest of time. And this can happen badly as well. Some people meet through grief and can't ever get past the grief, and that begins to define the relationship. But when it happens in good ways, good experiences, it can bind you together with someone, and it's meant to be like that. You know, like people are designed. God designed people to bond, to meld, to link together. It's in our nature. It's actually something we long for, and it's something that even though at times it's frustrating, we to have friendships and relationships and marriages and children, it can be hard and difficult. It is something we still long for, because that sense of connection with people is a good thing. It's something that we were designed to have. So you have these moments for Raylan and for Boyd in Justified. It's we dug coal together. And if you watch the series, you know that what that meant was tunneling deep under the ground and putting your life in another person's hand. And you'll know in their particular case, there was a cave-in. So there was a cave-in, and they had to kind of run out together. And it's that sense of we're facing death, and then now we're alive. It brought about a bond. And I have friends in my life that I don't see very often, but we dug coal together. We dug coal together, you know? And I'm not going to name them here, but I hope you know you are if you ever get to see this. We dug coal together. We had moments of life together. Now, there are those moments, experiences, and there's one kind of friends you get through experiences, formative stuff in your upbringing, or moments of catastrophe or success. You draw these bonds. But then there's another kind of friendship, and I also want to talk about this, which is where you give yourself to someone. Now, it's an old saying. Again, I'm all these freaking cheesy sayings. I'm quoting cheesy poems and stuff tonight. To have a good friend, you've got to be a good friend. Okay, to have a good friendship, you've got to give yourself to someone to some degree. And that's scary. I can't remember the exact quote, but to paraphrase Lewis, you know, to love is to risk harm. You know, to offer something of yourself to someone is risky. So sometimes you meet people in life who are very lonely, or have very surface relationships with people. And that maybe isn't because they're cold, or they're not nice people, or they're hard to get along with. It's because maybe there's a fear in there somewhere of letting their guard down and talking to someone. Now, when you have massive experiences, when you dig coal with someone, when something big happens, right? It's forced upon you. Your guard is dropped by some calamitous moment or some extraordinary moment, and you bond there. But in the normal cut and thrust of friendships, you have to choose that. You have to decide, like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go out of my way. And I love Boyd's question here, because Raylan's ready to go. Raylan's like, you know, I've told you the news. I've done all I want to do. And Boyd just stops like, nah. Before you go, can I just ask you one more question? Never underestimate the power of questions in building friendships and relationships. I once heard someone say, if you want to don't try and be an interesting person when you're trying to get to know someone. Try and be an interested person. Try and ask questions. And the truth is, every deep relationship I've ever had and got came from being a little bit nosy, going a little bit further, allowing the conversation to go from the mundane, everyday, normal, how you doing, how's your week been, to asking someone about something very particular, maybe something they're interested in, maybe something I've picked up like they're weary of or they shy away from. But it's that one step beyond normal where real relationships are formed. And like I say, digging coal, that normal's forced on you, or you choose it. You decide, I want to be friends with this person, so I'm going to invest time, I'm going to risk, I'm going to disclose who I am. And in doing so, I'm going to find, hopefully, friendship. And sometimes it don't happen, man. Sometimes, you pursue friendship or relationships, we take it to a different sphere, relationships with men and women or whatever, and it don't work. And that's all right. You still don't be down on yourself for trying, right? You know what I mean? But this thing here, man, this phrase, we dug coal together, man, I love it. I love it. Because I have those moments. But as well, I've learned that sometimes you have to choose. Oh, man, the camera's flaring out, man. Sometimes you have to choose those times as well. You have to decide, okay, I'm going to pursue friendship. And you do that by disclosing something of yourself. You do it by asking someone to disclose something of their self. You go the extra mile, Friendships won't really happen to you. There's something that you have to kind of welcome in. Now, it's not always possible to maintain relationships with people you dug coal with in the same way forever. Sometimes relationships with people you dug coal with are set in a very particular time, and you can visit back there, but ultimately you're not going to travel any further together. But that's okay. That's okay. In this scenario, you've got the lawman, he's retiring, going to live somewhere else, and Boyd's in prison for the next how many ever years, and but they'll always have that moment. They'll always have that we dug coal together moment. And it's good. And I guess I've been thinking about some friends. I've been thinking about some people that I dug coal with. Thinking about how grateful I am, what gratitude I have for some people who did stuff for me or I did stuff with at certain points in my life. And I've been thinking, I'd like to reach out. I'd like to visit. I'd like to go and see them, And I think that's okay. But when I do, I won't be expecting to pick up something that I can carry into my day right now. I'll understand these are people I dug coal with and they are valuable. They are gold. They are gold. But I'm also learning that you can, outside of people you dug coal with, you can develop deep, meaningful, life-changing relationships with people. And that's where I come back to self-disclosure, opening yourself up, honesty, being there for people. I hope you know by now, probably my highest value in life is loyalty. If I'm your friend, I will be loyal to you forever. That's it. And I'll expect loyalty from you. And I don't know where that comes from in me. I don't know why I have that, why that's such a deep value to me. But, when I'm friends with someone, I'll do anything for them within my power, and I'll call on them when I need help. And it's just important. I don't know. I'm meandering a bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You caught me. You like Drake. You've caught me in my feelings, man. I'm all up in my feelings. Do you know what I mean? Where are you in this? Can you, now I've understood, where are you in this? Now I've kind of laid out a concept of the newer friendships, which can still be great and very deep, but then these historic people you dug coal with. Can you place your hand, your fingertip on some of those people? Can you get your memory to light a candle of that time? See it illuminated, and can you remember who they are and what they did for you? What if you reached out? What if you just said, yeah, do you know, that person really meant something to me. And maybe you know something of them. Maybe you still know their parents are around somewhere where you live, whatever, but maybe they've moved away. Maybe reach out. Nowadays with social media and stuff, like, it's easier than ever to move out. And that's one thing I wanted to say. One of the disturbing things I see in the upcoming generations, the generations below me, it is, and I could be wrong here, and this is some judgments, all right, but it seems like that they have a harder time making significant relationships. And I think if somehow a video like this, podcast like this, can fall into the ears or the eyes of some of you guys, and if you're someone who struggles with being in friendship with people, talking to people, but you long for it, let me encourage you. Maybe get around some experiences, some moments, some digging coal moments. I don't know what that looks like. Going on a risky trip somewhere, doing some strange activity, picking up some weird hobby, taking that scary job, going to that part of town, going to another country, do whatever you got to do. Maybe try and find some of those moments. But other than that, maybe the coal you can dig today is to lower your guard and really talk to someone. Really kind of just say, like, hey, you know, like, how you doing? And mean it. When someone asks you how you doing, tell them. Don't do any of that rosy English bullshit about the weather and stuff. Tell them, you know, I'm struggling. If you're struggling, you know, I'm feeling this way or that, or I'm lost in what I should do for a living or whatever. Maybe just go that extra mile. And I think it's because this generation growing up, these digital natives, there's never been more ways to connect, but those ways have never been more disconnected from physical experience in the first instance, right? They're textual, they're image based, so you can reveal and show anything of yourself and stuff, but I'm sending it to you. I send it to you, you send it to me, I receive it and open it. And it's a different thing to be physically, have physical presence and physical words looking in someone's eye as the first place. Is a different thing than having it as an option if you fancy it. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm an old bastard here in this conversation. I don't know. But I know that friendships are awesome. I know that to be a good friend is an honor. To have a good set of friendships is to be honored. And it's something that, if you don't have it, I feel for you, but I can also say, look, you can find your way there. It's not that difficult. You can get there. Anyway, this is probably a meandering late night. My family are away. I'm having a little whiskey. I'm having a little cigar gone out. You know, this is just, oh no, man. Like I say, like Drake, caught me in my feelings, man. This is just the way it goes. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that somehow, somewhere, this has talked to you. I hope that this has reminded you of someone you loved in the past who's still around. Reach out and say to them, have that conversation and say, I just want to hang out with you because we dug coal together. Maybe you need to dig some fresh coal today with someone. Maybe there's someone who's been reaching out, trying to reconnect or connect with you, but you've been scared for some reason. Miss me with that bullshit. Dive in. Go for it. If you watch this on YouTube, like I say, do like, subscribe and all that, and do tune in on Friday morning for the weigh-ins. Live YouTube premiere, but it's on Instagram too and on Facebook and all that sort of jazz. It's going to be a good one this week. Bless you guys. Have a great weekend, whatever you do, and I'll see you on like Tuesday if you're watching for the pro tips number 4 video. Anyway, later on. Cheers.
Cheers.